Well, I'm in Prince Edward Island, a beautiful part of Canada on the east coast, to drive the all-new 2018 Toyota Camry. There's so much to talk about, and I think the first place to start is the new Toyota global architecture. That's what this vehicle is built on. It was first used for the latest Prius. The last vehicle that we had a chance to drive with this new platform is the CHR, and now their mainline car. This is the best-selling car in North America, especially in the United States. What we're seeing, though, in North America is a move towards utility vehicles, so Toyota focused a lot of attention on the Camry to get people excited about their brand. So they've kind of divided into different categories. If you have a Camry that has an L in the nomenclature, that's more refined and luxurious. The car they're using as their halo car to get people excited about the Camry is the XSE. If it's got an S in it, it's sporty. And then you have the hybrid line. So there's many different versions of Camry to choose from. One thing that they all have in common is the fact that the wheelbase is longer, the car is longer overall, the roof has been lowered. The hood has been lowered. The platform of the car sits lower overall, which gives you a much different driving experience. So on the outside, you can really notice the difference between the cars that have that L in them or the S, especially the front grille. The S model is much more aggressive looking. Wheel sizes go from 16 to 19 inches now. That's a first. All Camrys come with LED headlamps, both low and high beam, LED rear combination lamps, and also for the first time you see turn signals incorporated into the mirrors. There's a lot to talk about, so let's start out and we'll go through the different kinds of Camrys that you can choose. Okay, so the way we're going to work today is we're going to start out with the 4-cylinder Camry, we'll get to the V6, and this is the meat and potatoes car, the 4-cylinder in Canada, and they're hoping with this SE trim, the one we're driving here, this will be the one that's going to attract a lot of new buyers to the Camry. Typically slightly older, they're trying to skew a little younger, get some young professionals into this car, and it's got some great new tricks, and we'll start out with the fact that it's built on that new platform, as we mentioned. It's not just the platform, it's engines, it's suspension, it's a whole package that they've developed together. And in this particular model, the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, it's all new. It is the D4S system, which enables it to run on the regular cycle, Atkinson cycle, direct injection, and port injection. It's all technical stuff, but what it does is it gives you the power when you need it and the fuel efficiency that you require. In addition, you've got an 8-speed automatic transmission that's standard equipment across all except the hybrid models. And what does it mean? Well, it means you get 203 horsepower. That's a nice jump in horsepower for the 4-cylinder engine. If you get this model, the SE with the quad exhaust, you get an additional 3 horsepower to 206. Torque is strong at 184 pound-feet. And I think the biggest change has been the 8-speed automatic. And after you get out of second gear, the torque converter locks up. It gives you that direct shift both up and down. So here we are driving in PEI on some rather bumpy country roads, and it feels very sophisticated because on top of all of that, they have the new platform with a longer wheelbase and an independent rear suspension, a new double wishbone independent rear suspension to all come together to make this a much better handling car. In fact, they had a handling course first thing this morning. We got to take the previous 4-cylinder SE out through the cones and then jump into this new model, and the steering is much quicker, much more refined. That older car really pushed through the corners, didn't feel inspired at all, but now because you sit lower, the center of gravity is lower, the car has a longer wheelbase and this more precise steering feel, it's a marked difference. Next up, the V6. Now with this new global platform they're building this Camry off of, the whole car sits just a little bit lower. So the hood is lower, the dash is lower, and the A-pillars are thinner, which gives you a broader spectrum of view. So that's a good thing. When you look forward in the dashboard, there's new in-dash technology. You get either 7-inch screens or 8-inch screens for the top models. If you get the top XLE or XSE, you get the DVD-based navigation system embedded into the head unit. All of the others use what's called Entune. That's Toyota's new proprietary app drawer system that they have in their head units. So instead of using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, you plug your smartphone in and you use their downloadable map system to project onto the screen. Now they're going to add more and more apps as they go along, but they're kind of in this tug of war between Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and their own proprietary system. There will be some people that feel that, why don't you just give me those systems, and there'll be others that are happy just to use Toyotas. So it really comes down to preference. So that's what's happening with the screen. In behind the steering wheel, you get either a 4.2 or 7-inch TFT screen. Higher end models, of course, get the bigger screen. Now the good news is every Camry gets heated front seats as standard equipment. However, not available is a heated steering wheel or heated rear seats on any trim or even as an option. I think that's an oversight, especially for these premium looking interiors like we have with this XSE. It really looks splashy and first rate, and I think that's quite an omission that they're going to have to address. And they acknowledge that they have the capability to add those features in the future. Brand new to Camry is an available panoramic roof. Top models also get wireless charging if your phone is enabled with that. And if you get the hybrid model, they've moved the hybrid battery from the trunk to under the rear seat. So there really is no compromise to get the hybrid when it comes to packaging for the trunk or the inside of the cabin. You even can fold the seats and have a pass-through. So on the inside, they've done a great job of making this a thoroughly modern car. There's new technology in the head unit, whether you like it or not, but at least it's there. All right, now we're driving the V6, and I think that after driving both the 4-cylinder and the V6 over hundreds of kilometers here in PEI, all kinds of different roads, and quite a lot of them are bumpy, I think that the 4-cylinder is fantastic. Sure, you get almost 100 more horsepower with the 3.5-liter 6-cylinder at 301 horsepower. Front of the car, of course, with the V6 feels a little bit heavier. And the 4-cylinder now with over 200 horsepower and a little bit lighter might be the driver's choice. If you just want all-out horsepower, the V6 might be the way to go. So this V6 also has the D4S system, enable you to get the power when you need it, the fuel economy that you want. Now, all of the Toyota Camrys, as I mentioned, come with LED headlamps, and they all come with the Toyota Safety Sense system with forward collision warning and pedestrian detection as standard equipment. Now, that is advanced safety on all models from the cheapest to the most expensive. So after a day, what's the takeaway with this car? Well, the longer wheelbase, the stiffer platform, the independent suspension, the 8-speed automatic transmission all come together to make this a car that is the best Camry yet. It feels very poised, especially over rough roads. It gives you just the right combination of road sensitivity back to the driver and a smooth and relaxed place. So you get that combination. Then you can refine it even more to get it down to just what you want, whether it's one of those L models or the S models. So I think they've done a very, very good job. This car is loaded with technology, and it really is amazing to see what's packed in to the good old family sedan after a while. This really is a nice car, and if you're looking for a vehicle and you don't need that all-wheel drive capability, a sedan of this size really is a nice family choice. Okay, let's get into pricing and value, and we'll look at the two mainline cars, the LE and the SE. They are more expensive than the previous versions. The LE's around $27,500 and the SE's almost $28,000. But Toyota is very quick to point out they've added over $5,000 of content into this new car. New platform, new independent rear suspension, 8-speed automatic transmission, standard advanced safety system, LED headlamps, more powerful engines, and new head units on the inside. So there is some value there, even though it is more expensive. And the price runs all the way up to around $40,000 for the XSE that you see here. So that's the whole thing about this new Camry. It's got a much broader spectrum of potential vehicles to target. So the traditional buyer, the sporty younger buyer, and of course the fuel-efficient minded buyer with the hybrid system. So it definitely is the best looking Camry. The ride, the handling is vastly improved. The engines are certainly up to the job, and the ride and the transmission, I think, are two of the stars of this new Camry. Now, on the inside, I think they could tweak just a few things and they would have the perfect update to this 8th generation model.